Okay, we're recording, and I'm Jan Stringer, and I'm from Santa Fe, New Mexico, still here, and I'm excited about our call today, and a little nervous, I have to say. I wasn't sure if people were going to come because we haven't been doing regular calls, but I was watching a energy lecture on Sunday, and one of the things I like to do the most, and I just had time and I just sat, and there was like it was like 3 hours that the whole lecture with some breaks in between, and it always brings my energy so up. And while I was listening to the lecture, I really got inspired that I wanted to do something. And what could I do? We're all inside our homes right now, and so I thought, well, we can Zoom, we can do that. So that's really our whole purpose for today, is to come together and connect. And let's see, you might want to mute if you're got some background noise, and get to know one another. And then I've got a topic, and I'll introduce that in just a minute. But while we're just gathering, who would start us off with a introduction? Just say where you're from, maybe a little blurb about your business or what attracted you to be here. All right. And really take yourself off the video mute, because we're here to see each other. We're all in isolation. We're not here to isolate. So yes, Carolyn, woohoo! You've changed a little since I saw you last. Cool. And somebody else, take your videos off. I'm challenging you. If you just can't, that's fine, but I'm really looking forward to connecting with you visually too. All right.
Hey, this is Lena. I'll go off video once I get back home.
Okay.
Right now I'm in 7-Eleven looking for snacks.
Okay. I know this whole, what do we call it? This whole new world we're living in kind of makes you want to eat. I made gluten-free, sugar-free brownies on Sunday. Really good. All right, so who wants to share first and just say a little bit about you so we can get the energy starting to flow?
All right, I can say something. Hello.
Yes.
Can you hear me okay? I just
You
bought a new.
Great. You sound great. I love your haircut, your new style.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, my name is Marima. I'm from Spain, but now I live in the Netherlands. And well, my business has been evolving. I call myself these days a transformational speaker, because when I use some of my mindset tools with people, it seems that transformation happens, shifting of the energy. So I get somewhere, whether it's a company or it's an individual, I help them with a passion test, I help them with perfect customers, I help them with tapping, I help them with many things, but they're like, whoa, my energy changed.
Well, you're that kind of a guy. You're definitely someone that gets the energy flowing and stirring, and so I love that about you. So what attracted you to be here today?
Well, what attracted me to be here today is that, yes, we are living through something so extraordinary that even people like us who are, I think that most of us are mindset specialists. We are specialists in shifting consciousness, but this thing is so huge that it's affecting us. And we also need support. We also need to put our oxygen mask. I'm having several moments of anxiety during the day. My parents are 80 and 82, and they live alone in Spain, in the south of Spain. So I'm having some moments, and I had to use my tools. So I had to use 3 times meditation a day instead of 1 time, because my energy goes up and down. So I need support, and I want to also be able to give you support.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well said. Me too. I echo what you say there. I know I've been, well, like Sunday, like I mentioned, I had really immersed myself and got my energy was way up. My vibration was up, and I woke up yesterday. Oh, and I slept. So that was another thing. Sunday night, I slept till 8:30 in the morning after all that energy. I mean, just that's unheard of for me without waking up or taking something. It was just beautiful. And so I had a lot of surplus energy flowing into Monday, but I woke up today flat as a pancake. And I'm like, oh no, I have to call today. So I've been working on that before our call to get back up. So I'm feeling much better now. Fortunately, I wouldn't bombard you with that. So yes, we're all here for support. Thank you. Who wants to share a little bit about yourself next?
I can share next, Jan.
Okay.
First, so nice to see you, Jan, and Marinma, and Carolyn, and I hope we'll see the others soon also.
Yes.
And I love what you said, Marinma, about how even though as individuals we're trained in managing our awareness and all that, at this time we need to bring in the extra strength protection of our awareness. And so I've also stepped up like the integrity of my basic practices, like eating well, exercising, more meditation and mantra and all that. So actually, so today is actually my birthday, so it's a perfect day to have this call. So
we did it
St.
just
Patrick's,
for you.
Right. Although I was born in India, this is my Irish connection is St. Patrick's Day today also. So,
Let's sing Bridge Happy Birthday, okay? If you'll,
Okay.
and everybody, 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Cha-cha-cha.
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
dear Bridge.
Bridge. Happy
Happy
birthday
Birthday to
to
you.
you and many
well,
more.
yeah, thank you so much for all that love. I appreciate that. So it's actually a perfect day to reflect on so many things: the impermanence of life, the abundance of love and community, and the gratitude, for all the teachings each of us has received from so many lineages. That we're the perfect leaders, and to generate that extra spaciousness and compassion that's much needed at this time. So in the Boston area where I'm calling from, there is some anxiety. There are quite a few cases, and things are kind of shut down. But the actions I'm taking are to, like on this call, to be in touch with my friends and to also stay in touch with my neighbors to create community and to see if they are in need and things like that, and to remind people to follow the basics and give them basic instruction in following their breath, or remind them they can just sing or listen to music and don't need to be on the internet all the time to check every single update every hour, things like that. But I feel like this is why we have practiced what we have practiced, right? Whether it's the strategic attraction plan or meditation, our own spiritual or secular path. So I feel like this is a time to invoke it, because my teacher, who's a Buddhist teacher, she says that we often take refuge not in our spiritual practice, but in information. Like the mind goes to pull for more information. Of course, that's necessary. Some of that is needed, and there are normal precautions and all that. But we can actually remind ourselves, like Marinma was saying, to meditate 3 times a day, or to seek the power of the practices we have been given, to actually take refuge in that, along with the practical considerations that we have. So anyway, so nice, so happy to be here with all of you. Thank you.
Yeah, that
Thank
was.
you for your birthday wishes.
Oh my God,
happy
your
birthday.
energy. Oh my God, your energy just comes through so strong. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, cool. Love what you said, that you can sing. I mean, it doesn't have to be, I don't have to lay down on the bed, get my app out and do all of the hoo-ha I go through. I mean, I could just start singing something. Well, they do say when you wash your hands, what is it, 20 seconds, you can sing like a happy birthday to yourself, or row your boat or something like that. So,
Right, or say a mantra that lasts that long, or things like that. So yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, who wants to go next? Well, I can see you, Carolyn, so why don't I ask you if you would mind? Let's see, you're muted. Let's get you unmuted. There you go.
Good day. I'm Carolyn Carmen, and nice to be with you all. I know most of you, but not all. Bridge, have we met each other before?
Maybe we were on some SACAT training together online, something like that. So
Okay, because you had this recognition, and I'm like, okay, I used to remember. So
Yeah.
I just like this community, and I like being uplifted, and I like being an uplifter, and I just like being reminded of higher practices, and I'm sharing my gifts with the world right now because everybody wants a healthier and immune system, and I do health and wellness with nutrition, plant nutrition, fruit and vegetables. So it gives me an opportunity to share what I know because we have 5 studies showing that it supports a healthy immune system. So it's kind of an interesting time. I'm kind of like, sometimes I'm on and sometimes I feel like I'm, I don't know, like sometimes I use my intuition. Let's put it that way. I use my intuition. If somebody's coming to mind, then I reach out. And I look, but I'm not like overly on it because I just want to respect where people are. But it seems like Spirit is giving me plenty to do, and I've been upping my spiritual practices. This morning I was on a call with a number of friends early this morning, women, and it started just going to all the things that are not the things that you can go to if you want to, and the energy just goes down on all the things that could possibly happen. And it's like, thank goodness somebody else spoke up and said something. It's like, yes, there's that part, but what we focus on increases. And so how do we lift the energy, and how do we, what thoughts are we putting our attention to? And so somebody brought it up, and then I brought it up too. It's like, bring up affirmative things. It's like, yes, there's a need. So what can we do? What can we ask ourselves? How can I help? And I reached out yesterday to see how I could help with the children that aren't in school, making sure those kids get food. And I was surprised. I have to fill out like 4 sheets of paper. I forgot about all that kind of stuff, the protective factors of all that stuff. But there's really nothing to do for the next, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in the Seattle area because they're not even allowing that right now. So, enjoying working on my goals and doing my spiritual practices, and so grateful to be here and be in all of your energy.
Thanks, Carolyn. You are an uplifter. I love what you said. I was thinking, you said, I love being an uplifter. That's a great being to remember. So, love that.
Thank you.
Yeah. I was thinking about that, as a conversation topic too, who are we being in the world? We can kind of reflect on that as we go along, or a little bit later too. Marima, were you going to add something?
Yeah, no, I was thinking that Caroline has such an important role to play now, because really it's the immune system that needs to be really in good shape for people all over the world. So I will say, when you think about Seattle area, that open your mind to many millions, thousands of people that may need your help. That right now they could be Mexico, but they speak English, and they see something that you post on Facebook, or they are in Kenya or somewhere, because this is global. It's a global situation. So as I'm telling you, I'm telling myself, obviously.
Yeah. Yes.
So it's just it is.
We are all just reflections of each other. So.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Hey, there's some people. All right. Welcome. And I think everybody's on camera now. Ewald, he's probably out with a hammer in his hand, nailing something together, maybe. So he may not be able to do a video until it's time to share. But whenever you're ready, we're here to hear from you. So whoever's next. Who's next?
This is Lena. I'll go next.
Okay.
Chicago. It's interesting here because, yeah, we're shut down on a lot of stuff. And I was happy I just gone to the polls to vote because it was voting for us today. And was happy to see that my poll was still open because a lot of them had been shifted at last minute. So
Where do you live? Tell everybody where you live.
I'm in Chicago.
Chicago. Right.
Yep, I'm in Chicago, and we tipped over 100 cases in Illinois yesterday. So we're taking far more extreme measures right now. It's we're just experience, and I'm just keeping with it, keeping with the flow. And when I saw cool to get on, just to reconnect with everybody, because one of the things that I've been struggling with, I guess, is looking at with all the things that I offer, because even though how I label myself as a business transformation consultant, I do work a lot. I'm certified health coach, of course, certified with this. I'm a certified caregiving consultant, and all these things that revolve around wellness. And that's where I am with a lot of things. And where I've been struggling is, so how do I offer things without seeming like I'm taking advantage of a situation?
Right. Yeah.
And so I thought it would be just good to go ahead and hop on and connect.
Yeah, I agree. Very good. I've had that same thought as well. So that's a good conversation to have as well. All right. Let's see. Ewald, do you want to introduce yourself? Or Amy. There you are, Amy. Either one of you.
Hello.
Hey
I have no
there.
makeup on today, so.
You look beautiful.
Hey,
You don't
can't
need
go out.
makeup. You don't need makeup. Nobody does, except me.
Yeah, I'm just still trying to get my head around all this with what I do. And I recently became a certified coach. So I've been putting it out there, but just not attracting clients. So kind of wanted to connect with this group and get my own mindset back to where it needs to be. I want to be more connected with like-minded people.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah. Very good. Well, we're
I'm
in
a
the
training
right place.
coordinator, and right now training's not going on very much.
Right.
So, but I'm defining, my perfect clients and things like that. And I'm the same as you guys. Like, how do I put myself out there without seeming like I'm taking advantage of a situation? And coming up with the thoughts, well, nobody can pay for coaching right now. And just battling those thoughts in my head.
Yeah. All right. That's what it is. Those thoughts in the head. So, all right. Battling the thoughts in the head. That's a good one. Okay. Let's see. Did you say where you were from, Amy?
I'm in Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Okay. Ewald, are you in a place where you want to introduce yourself? All right.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Take your time.
Progress. Yeah, I'm at work.
I know it's hard to think of you at work when there's palm trees in the background and
Beautiful. It's actually the house of the producer of the Lion, what's it called, Narnia series?
Oh, yeah.
Which, whatever.
Yep.
You know, he's remodeling, and I'm here alone. Everybody else is somewhere, I guess. So yeah, okay. Well, I did a lot of thinking about this whole thing, obviously, and like I said, so I said to myself, if we look at the virus itself and how it spreads, you know, how can we kind of almost see it like a love virus, you know? How, you know, because if something spreads in a viral way, how can we make it go viral, our own things, you know? So, like I said, so I looked at the virus itself and I said, well, first of all, there has to be a virus, you know, and then it has to somehow get a hold of something, and then it somehow spreads. And I mean, there's books about it out there anyway, and that's where the term viral comes from. So I said to myself, well, what's the first thing? And I mean, the first thing is I have to kind of almost in a way copy it in a sense of, but in a positive way. How can I be the person? And it's obviously very hard because, you know, the whole world is basically in such a thick, lower, dense energy, which is fear. And obviously lots of non-essentials like coaching, even construction, is gonna die, you know, because lots of people will not probably want to have me in the house, number one. Secondly, they don't want to probably spend the money on a remodel because, you know, nobody knows what's going on. So everybody's going to hold on to that, you know. So how do I become viral? You know, how can I change that within myself first, you know? So I did this morning, which I hardly ever do, but occasionally I do, you know, is do my energy, you know, my charging and my healing and my life force charging. And, you know, there's a German healer by the name of Bruno Grönig who lived in the 50s, and he had like mass healings. He healed like one time 20,000 people and he has a very simple way of charging yourself. He calls it the healing stream. So basically, you know, you just basically sit there and allow that energy to come towards you or into you. And it's actually a very simple exercise. So I did it, and, you know, I felt immediately a lot stronger again. Because, you know, like I said, I unfortunately don't do it much unless I need something, and then it always works for me. So I said to myself, well, I have to start out with, first of all, being strong myself, not worry about that stuff. And then I have to see what can I do, like you guys said, without taking advantage. And, you know, but the whole philosophy behind it was, to me, is fascinating because it happens fast. And obviously you have to have the right conditions. You know, there's a lot of things that have to be there. So if you follow this whole logic of how something spreads, it's like, yeah, it's in a sense, it's the same. It's just will be much harder because we're dealing with a dense energy. So that's basically what I realized. I somehow have to find out who is that, you know, first or person, or who is that one person that really needs me to connect with them, you know. So rather than trying to change everything in one shot, how can I really go viral myself in that sense? You know, I mean, maybe it's not the right word to use right now, but there's a lot of similarities. So, you
That
know,
makes a lot of sense.
you know, if you look at it, it's amazing how it works. I mean, it starts out with one thing, okay? And I mean, I've read so many books about the one thing and they're going viral. And I mean, I read all these books all the time, you know, and I always found them amazing, you know. But it doesn't really matter how amazing, useful they are. As I am in the kind of, let's say, a positive virus or a viral, I know, or a love virus for that matter. If I don't behave in the same sequence, in the same matter, then how can I expect it to be different for me when I come from the same fear and I think I have to change something from that fear, you know? So the very first thing is, how do I now change, I wouldn't say change, but how am I now becoming myself, that person? You know, and it's not easy because when you go into it, you will realize you want to be that person, but you realize deep within you, there's the same fear. So now how can you now be someone and try to change something when deep within, you know, even though you think you are that person, but you're not necessarily that person. So how deep do you have to go? And how strong do you have to be for this to happen? You know, then I realized I can only start out with really working on myself. You know, really.
Hey, Ewald, you're stimulating our thoughts. I think some people want to comment on some of the things you're saying. So if you could pause for just a second. I know Marima and then Carolyn had something they wanted to say. So let's interject that for a moment.
Well, I want to thank you so much. I wanted to ask you what's the last name of that Bruno German healer?
Bruno Gröning, I can post it. But it's actually,
Okay.
yeah, he is very controversial, but he healed many people. But then doctors got involved, and then it didn't work the way they wanted. They wanted to charge money, and he didn't want to. So then they more or less almost tried to pin a murder on him because he healed someone, and they said he didn't get doctorate, whatever. So there's a lot of controversy around him, but it's a very
sorry, I'm sorry, excuse me to interrupt you, but that was not my question. That is just by the way. What I wanted to tell you is that I found your concept of going viral in a positive way so interesting. So interesting that I realized you had done a lot of thought about it, and it's so useful. Because I'm seeing a lot of initiatives, for example, in Spain. In Spain, the government is forcing people to stay at home, so they are not free to walk.
Exactly.
Not even a walk in the mountains or outside. They must stay inside. So people have come up with all type of initiatives, and some of these positive initiatives have gone viral so quickly. For example, at 8 p.m., people go out because there is a lot of apartment complex, blocks of apartments. So people go out at 8 p.m. Someone came out with that idea to give homage to the nurses and doctors working in hospitals. That was one day, then 2 days. Now every single day, people all over Spain go to the balcony to clap. That's a positive thing that have gone viral. So why not? That is a new thought. Why not something that we can introduce? Why not can it go viral in a positive way? I think that I really appreciate that concept because I think it's very applicable. And also, we are all doubting ourselves. I can see that in all of you, that we are all doubting that just because we are human, at some point we fall into fear, that we are not the ones that can provide some positivity in this situation. So it helps me to see that I'm not the only one doubting myself.
Yeah.
It helps me too.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you look into, I mean, I did a lot of reading about this stuff. I mean, I do this for 30 years. And when you look into how our brains are wired, it's very interesting that we are actually, in a time of crisis, the monkey see, monkey do is really our brains are flooded with certain cells that flood our entire brain. And that's when we look up to a leader. And that's why you have to have the right leader in a time of crisis. I mean, like, you know, they either lead you down or they lead you up. And we are literally absolutely wired in our brains, our nervous system is really wired for what will happen tomorrow. Our fear is really about what's happening tomorrow.
Yeah.
And when you look into, I mean, we are wired that way, and one way to overcome this is to have the right leaders. And this is very interesting. I mean, when I read this, it was fascinating. I mean, how fast and how quickly. That's why they put a computer, a stop in the stock market, because they know that people are gonna go monkey see, monkey do. So in order to stop people from their own insanity, they have to make the computer stop. Otherwise, humans will click the whole stock market empty.
Yeah, I want to add on to that. Yesterday, I was taking someone through the strategic attraction plan. And he and I had promised we had started it a few weeks back, and then he got involved with a whole different kind of business, and so we tabled it, and so we were starting all over yesterday to do it for his new business. And it's a network marketing business, and what he wanted he called them business partners. But throughout the course of our conversation of the attraction plan, the word leader kept coming out of my mouth, you know, business leaders. I'm like, don't you? And then finally he just said, I don't want to say partners. I mean, I keep saying leaders. And so, so that was kind of like the first thought. And then we got to the being, creating who he was being. And he had, you know, like we all do when we first create an attraction plan, you have like this much of all the words, you know. And I said, well, what would you call someone that embodies all of that, all of those many words? And, you know, he said a this and a that. I mean, to me, it was just like, who's buried in Grant's tomb? It was like, you know, so clear that who he needed to be was a business leader. Anyway, we kind of busted through that for him to be able to see it. And in that moment, in that I know that I attract people for a reason, it also spoke to me that who I need to be is a business leader. And it's inside of me stepping into those shoes that the doubts go away, the fears go away, that it's really what's being called forth is a new way of being. Carolyn?
Yeah, you went into creation mode. So then creation mode is calling you into a different place. Whereas the the indecisiveness or the not being clear, I don't know if that makes sense, but when we're not clear, we're not creating, we're not moving into it, we're not embodying whatever. I was just, when Ewald was talking, I love that conversation, Jan. That's really helpful for me. But I also like what Ewald was saying, and it was like, you know, I'm doing this other work that I've been doing, and we had a call with Bob Proctor yesterday morning, all about, you know, envisioning where you're going and what you want, and not really like not focusing on, yeah, you deal with what's going on, you're mindful of what's going on, but you're spending your time in study and in honing your story the way you choose it to be, and listening to that regularly, so that you're starting to, because we're the creators, everything in form we created, so what are we wanting to create? And you know, I love that, creating leadership, creating
leaders around us. I mean, hello, why are you on this call?
hello, but
I had all these doubts, I had all these fears about this call. I mean, nobody will come, and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And then all of a sudden, you know, I get a little text or an email. It says, I'll be there, or I want to be there, but I can't. You know, it's just all of a sudden, you know, like people start raising their hand. So, yeah. And Bridge, you've got your hand. So, you know, raising your hand, and then Marima. Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I wanted to add that, of course, there's legitimate concern about maybe not necessarily ourselves. Let's say we're in good health and don't have underlying conditions, but we may have relatives or other people who are at risk. And so one is also confronting one's lack of control. You know, you can support them, you can, you know, do all that you can. So then it's like, I feel like what happens is that when we worry, as the anxiety ratchets up, we don't inhabit our body anymore, right? So one of the practices I am doing and encouraging others to do is to just somehow inhabit your body, like walking or following your breath and just being aware. Because if you're grounded that way and your belly is relaxed, then you can even deal with the difficult situations, like lack of supply. Maybe you don't have sanitizer, or someone
toilet paper, send toilet paper, please.
Right. Yeah, my sister in Las Vegas wants me to mail her toilet paper. So.
Seriously, we ran out, but fortunately the shelves were empty, and I grabbed all these boxes of Kleenex, so not to worry.
Right. So, and then the other thing to mention is that you know, the doubt is, of course, with our limited, small identity and that kind of self. And so just we can, you know, when we're grounded and in our practice, we can tap into that larger reservoir, right, of wisdom, skillful means, whatever, compassion. And also, I feel like just like there's a power grid of electricity, there's also a power grid of interconnection and possibility. So even if we're not talking to someone and we're just settled and calm, I feel like it helps everyone else, you know. So, you know, we don't actually need to talk to someone. Like Carolyn was saying, she's using her intuitive awareness to see who comes to her awareness, you know. So anyway, I just want to mention both of those, being grounded and tapping into a reservoir bigger than ourselves, you know. Thanks.
Beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Whew. So,
I wanted to say something
did you? Okay.
that you gave me an idea that was so obvious that can I help business leaders to be leaders in the time of crisis, in this time of crisis? So many business people now are panicking and they are not taking care of their employees. They also need to raise up so we can help them to be leaders. And I'm thinking one of my clients, I just finished the second session of the passion test, and I communicated with her today. How are you doing with the lockdown? And she said, I went to the office and I had such a moment of anxiety. She's the owner of the business, that I couldn't breathe. And I remember in our last session, you did this tapping for me, and I did the tapping and I was able to breathe again. So now after this call, I am going to contact her again. I'm going to say, Anna, you send your employees home, but are you being a leader of your employees? Are you doing Zoom call with them? Are you raising their energy? Are you being the leader that this moment called for you to be? Or are you just, cowering in your home with your family and just abandoning your employees? You need to raise up. And that's what I can do. That's my call in this moment, is to help others to be leaders. Sorry for this long thing.
No. That I'm like, really, this is a beautiful conversation for all of us. Yeah.
I am absolutely loving that, about the helping others to rise up to being leaders. It is, and just the whole conversation about viral love and viral support and everything. Because admittedly, the sticking point for me on a lot of stuff has been that I happen to be one of those people that's in a high-risk group. I have asthma, I have diabetes, as well as other medical conditions. So it's, been a little bit scarier for me in terms of what do I do, where do I go, do I get on the seat, on the public transportation to go somewhere or not? What do I do to keep it safe as possible? And just that whole idea of, one of the things I do when I do go on these things is I do surround myself in love, and I do, have the affirmation of knowing that all will be well. And but it's still just such a beautiful conversation to be part of right now.
Yes.
Of where everybody is.
Yeah, definitely. I love it. Well, I wanted to share some things that I received from someone else that I listened to. And I thought it was very inspired because I wrote it down. So may I share that with you?
Please.
Yes, I thought you'd like it. All right, this was on Sunday morning. The man facilitating the call, he's in the Chinese energy program that I follow, and he's also in his career. He is a very successful real estate company in Austin, Texas. So he said, he was sharing about his employees and etc. But here's what he told them. He says, what will people want as a result of being in this new world? What will people want now as a result of being in the new world? How can I make the business fit in the new world as we have it now? Who can I be now? These are all things we've started to talk about. He also mentioned, where is the pain in my business if this goes on for 6 months or more? You know, looking out, you know, being a forecaster, I guess. What is the pain my business might suffer? Rather than being hit with it, start to think in advance, I think is what he meant. How can I serve my clients? How can my online business serve others? Somebody else mentioned that. And then he started talking about the law of physics and how that pertains to our energy. He says you have to hold the expectation and have to keep believing it will come and you will prevail. There's an opportunity to, excuse me, to do this now, and big shifts happen if you expect it. So he started talking about how the law of attraction, not a law of attraction, but the law of physics, and really the law of attraction, is all about expecting the outcome to come. So he gave us 3 basic principles, I guess you'd say, of the law of physics. And number 1 is believe it is possible. So this is a good thing to be journaling about instead of the other, you know, being consumed by the other. Start believing what could be possible. And I think we're really starting, you know, like viral love, creating leaders, help others to be leaders, tapping for breathing. I mean, all the things you've been saying. So believe it is possible and expect it to happen. That's number 1. And then number 2 is you can't decide where it will come from. So what's another way to say that? Be open to where it comes from. I remember Alan used to say, when I would get all up in my stuff about money, we don't have enough money, you know, and I get all, you know, in a little snit about it, or we need to do another course, get some money in or something. And he was like, you know, he said, expect money will come and don't, you know, it will come. And then I'm always like, well, where is it going to come from? And he says, wherever it is. And so that was something Maharishi had taught him. Expect it to come from wherever money is. So you can apply that to almost anything. Expect it to come wherever it is. I had a little one of those money attacks. I made a financial mistake yesterday. Today I was kicking myself with a big boot, which is hard to do in your own butt, but I was doing it pretty well. And then I was like, okay, I gotta just like clear this out. And then I remembered money comes from wherever it is. And when I came back in to get, you know, turn on the Zoom and all for the call, sure enough, somebody was writing about how do they get certified to teach the strategic attraction plan in Russia. No kidding. I'm like, okay, you know. But anyway, it was just, to me, it was just like, I wouldn't have written a goal. I want to attract a certification client in Russia. You know, I never would have thought of that. So it's like from wherever it is. So that was number 2. So you can't decide where it will come from, and it may come in differently than you thought. And then the third thing is about taking action, is take action and experience small failures. So small failures, action, small failures, action. In other words, you can't just sit and wait for all of this to clear out of the air. Go ahead, take an action. What if nobody bought? I played with that a little bit last week myself. I put together a little online product using some videos that I had pre-recorded 2 years ago on each step of the attraction plan, and I put it all together in a little online, and I did a flash sale for $20. I just wanted to see if anybody was reading it or listening to it. If it had been nobody, it's the way it was, you know. But, and I should say, yes, and 2 people did purchase. So I was like, okay, somebody is out there and they're reading and maybe they do want this. So small fails take an action. And I think that's something that we can put into the mix of our conversation today about how do I offer my gifts without taking advantage? And I really like to reframe our mindset around that. Is that how can we make a contribution to others with our gifts? I mean, I don't think it's inside any of us to take advantage of another person. We're givers, we're contributors, we're leaders. If we sit and don't tell anybody about what we can help them with, we're not doing our job. Carolyn. And hi, John. Welcome.
I like that you said that, because it just, you know, it's like when we're coming from our heart, it's no different than, we're thinking of it different, but it's no different than a waitress coming around with her pot of coffee. It's like, would you like another cup?
Love it. Yes.
I mean, they get to choose. We just, you know, I have no idea if you're interested or not. I have no idea, but you know, you were on my mind and I was thinking about you, and you know, you're really coming from your heart.
Yeah.
It's not up to us. We're just the messengers. We're just there to support people and contribute.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And I was thinking that, you know, I can still go to the center of Delft here, yes, and order a coffee, order a cappuccino. And with all this that is going on, it's still going to cost me €3, right? But we are thinking in discounting our services or giving them for free. So if I need a coffee, and there is a virus going on and there is a crisis going on, I'm still going to go and I'm still going to have to pay for it. And the toilet paper is not free. The bananas and the apples and the broccoli are not free. So I actually went and bought some makeup. It was almost all finished, and some other things, and I paid €60. Nobody said to me, hey, you know, there is this crisis, just take whatever you want. But now I'm thinking and going and offering everything I have been studying and practicing for the last 10 years for free. And it's not that I'm not coming from my heart, but so these are the things that I think that we are all struggling with. And I'm very glad that we are having this conversation and that it's in everybody's mind.
That's a great point you made there. I love it.
It really is.
I went to Starbucks.
I put out an offer for a free coaching yesterday.
Okay. I know. And I was thinking the same thing. Should I offer the certification training for free? You know, here I am, made a financial mistake, and I'm going to give something for free. But
and it's like critical. It's critical. Like my friend, she went to her office and she couldn't breathe of the anxiety, thinking that what she has worked for the last 4 years, from $0 to $3 million, because she's in the law profession, it may disappear overnight. But the tapping that I taught her helped her to breathe. And so what we do is very, very valuable in this situation. Of course, we are not going to say, all right, so you cannot breathe, you're having an anxiety attack. Sorry, it's $25,000 for one session. Otherwise you can breathe, right? So we are not that kind of people. But I don't think that we should go to the other stream. And I was seriously thinking and giving everything for free. I swear.
Okay.
I can tell you that you're my friends, you're my community.
We're not doing that. We're
No.
not doing that, okay? As a
Don't let me do
community,
it.
let's make an agreement. We're not gonna get all panicky and think we have to give it away for free.
No, no, don't do
Okay.
it. Don't do it.
Okay, I'm with you. I'm still going to Starbucks. I may not go every day for a green matcha tea frappuccino with almond milk, but I will continue to go, and they're not going to say, Jan, you come here every day. I'm just going to give this to you for free now. No, they're not going to say that. I don't think so. Good point. Love it. Love it. So this is kind of, we're coming to the close of the hour. We didn't really say how long, but I think an hour is kind of the gist of the call. I had some, would you like to meet again? That's a question mark I have. Would it be valuable to have this kind of a conversation, supportive conversation again? And would you like to do it again in a week or 2 weeks? What would you like? 3 weeks, 4 weeks? What would be, if you want to continue the conversation, I certainly do. I'd love to host it for free.
For the moment.
For Frappuccino, I work for Frappuccinos.
For the
Well,
moment.
I can mobile order.
Mobile order, yes, mobile order, Jana Frappuccino.
Yeah, I think it'll be useful to meet again.
Mm-hmm.
But just to may I respond to what you were just discussing about
Of course,
not
please.
giving things away from free.
Okay.
So I know that our business depends on offering what we have, right? Whatever skills, services we have that exceed market standards in some way. Look, we're good at something and we offer that. So we can still do that, but at the same time, like some of my friends, like even a yoga teacher, she's doing Zoom-based yoga classes, so we can change the medium and do things like that. But also what I'm finding is that as I'm getting in touch with people, I am using the situation to just relate to them in a deeper way. Of course, I want to talk to them about the business, like business prospects and, friends from colleagues from businesses. But it's like a authenticity challenge where I am reaching to them to talk to them about business or making an offer. At the same time, there is a situation, what's happening in the world. But I find that it's actually making it easier to connect with them deeply. If you begin with that as human beings and connect with them, so it doesn't need, one thing doesn't need to preclude another, right? You're relating with them as human beings in this current situation. At the same time, something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, just wanted to mention that. I appreciate, Jan, that today you brought up both leadership as well as this aspect of business, because it's true, we do need to pay the bills and we do need to attend to the cash flow. And I love what you said about taking actions and anticipating small failures, because we all struggle with that, the sense of scarcity. There's like an infinite amount of business out there, even in this climate, but sometimes it appears there's no one out there who, like you said, that will attend this call or is interested in our offer, right? So I appreciate that we're addressing something very important, like how to keep the lights on while we are compassionate and outward oriented and being leaders in many ways,
Mm-hmm.
And I'll also just say this, that I think given who we are on the call, I've heard everyone except John, I think when we make our offer, whatever it is that we're offering, we are the offer as well. I think people would like to connect with us, given who we are as human beings, not just for the product or the value, but so we can also have confidence in that, trust that who we are, like Jan, you radiate the spirit of the, like the voice of the feminine spirit, and we all each have our own language. So we can just trust that, that people want to connect with that, Thank you.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, I love it. And that is a good reminder to remember who we are, what makes us tick. Nothing has changed. But as I say that, let me just say that I did see something yesterday when I was taking this man through the attraction plan. Because he and I started step 1 and 2 before around his other business. And then with his new business, we repeated it. But by the end of it, I was getting these ahas about the attraction plan could be a transformational tool to up-level ourselves. This is what I think the new world is that the new world's here. It's already here.
Yeah.
It's not like we're waiting for the old world to come back. That world is done. And, I think maybe an idea would be to, on our next call, go through the attraction plan for who we are today, who we are now, and in a new world. That could be a real exciting thing.
Wow.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's a very good idea.
Amazing. I'll be happy to jump on a call like that in a week.
Okay. I'll do it in a week. If you will come. I'll build it. Let's see.
And thank you for being a role model. Thank you for being a role model for all of us, because I was really at the verge of calling my own Zoom call with, putting out there for my clients and for my audience, and I couldn't just kind of cross that bridge. And when you do it and you attract all of us, it gives me the certainty that I'm going to do it, and I'm going to attract my crowd.
Right. Yes,
They are there.
you.
They're waiting. They are waiting for me. So thank you for stepping up and being that role model and being that business leader.
Thank you. Heartfelt. And thank you for hearing the call, all the leaders to step up and be here today. So, and then there's more that wanted to come too, but I'd be happy to do. I just wanted to look real quick, make sure before I say that.
And Jan,
Hello,
may we hear from John? May we hear from
Hi,
John?
Yes,
John,
you can hear from me.
I'd love to hear from John.
I got stuck in the supply line across town, so I'm sorry I'm a little late.
No problem.
But what would you like to hear from me on? I got all kinds of exciting stuff going on.
Share.
We're live streaming stuff for business people.
This is your time, baby. I mean, this is like video marketing.
This is what I live for. I know. I feel like I've just stepped into a huge opportunity.
Now, not everybody knows you. Not everybody knows you, believe it or not. However, so just do a quick introduction about who you are, where you live, etc.
Right. Sure. So I'm John Paduchak. I live in New Hampshire near the Boston area, and very involved with video marketing, particularly live streaming video and virtual events and webinars and all of that. And of course, as you can imagine, nobody can be in rooms together now. And so my business is going crazy like overnight. So
there you go.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
You're our model. Yes.
Oh.
I mean, how many people here, and I think it's everyone, can do business online?
Everybody. So we've been talking
time.
about workshops and big live events that have been canceled. We're trying to do them virtually. And the good news is over the last couple of months, we've gotten some great tools to do that.
Awesome.
And so, it's pretty exciting.
That is exciting.
You can practically do something you would do live virtually now with expo centers and networking and the breakout sessions, the whole 9 yards.
Everything. That's wonderful.
Come a long ways.
Well, I think time has come, obviously. So.
No better time to be trapped at home.
No better time. And I relish something more than a virtual hug soon. Go ahead, Bridge.
So Jan, I wanted to offer something to everyone. I can't wait till the next session, so I'll quickly say it, which is that in this new climate, we can also be open to unexpected openings. If the opportunity is not just straight ahead, it could be sideways, like you may be thinking of catching a train, but a boat is pulling up next to you or something. Like it may not be what you imagine. So let's be open to unexpected sources of openings,
Very true.
business. Like I know that
Mm.
like I'm a consultant in the area of high tech, artificial intelligence, and data science, and I usually think of the same fixed way. These are the potential clients. These are my tired old contacts. So but
It's a new world.
this is a whole new situation. So
Mm.
while having the intention that money or whatever resources we're looking for clients come to us, let's be open to unexpected
Mm.
sideways opportunity and
No,
pay
Gracie.
attention to that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that, and we'll build on that some more next time. All right. I'm just looking at my calendar, and next Tuesday, the 24th, I'd be happy to do the SAP with you all y'all. And is this time a good time? Same time as today?
I think.
Yep.
Okay, that's
Yep.
all right.
Works for me.
Okay, sorry.
John, I will be calling you.
All right, let me put it on my calendar. Not like
that
my
is-
calendar is flooded with other appointments.
That is 8 p.m. Europe
Yet.
Okay,
until the Sunday 28 that we change the time.
okay,
Oh,
okay. All right, so
And
same
are
time.
you all on the SACAT Facebook group, Jen? Is everyone on the call
Yes. Uh-huh.
on that
think
group?
so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
And also in the email that I sent out, if you're not on the membership, please go to the bottom of the email. It's on the bottom of the reminder emails, and make sure you're in the SACAT membership too. No charge to attend yet. Gonna charge Starbucks gift cards soon. All right.
And now when I hang up, I'm going to call a very good friend of mine from Spain who just called me an hour ago and told me
Yes.
that she has the virus.
Oh, gotcha.
Mm.
All right.
So I'm
So
just
before,
going to call
this
her and do
this
some
is a
tapping.
good practice. This is a good practice, is that
Mhm.
before we interact with other people that may not be on the same vibration, that could pull you down. I had that happen last week. One of my dear girlfriends, we love to do lunch, and anyway, she just was all caught up in the panic. Put your protectiveness, however you do that. I like to imagine myself, in a creative, or not a creative, but that's good. A bubble, kind of a protective field, and just do your best. That's all you can do. And stay healthy, and talk to Carolyn about how to stay healthy and build your immune system. And
Yeah.
if anybody has any ideas on that, let's bring them all next week. I'll send out reminders. I'll post it in the SACAT Facebook group, STARS Facebook group, and we will party on next week.
Yes. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you, Jen.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you, Jen.
Thank you all
Everyone.
for
Thank you,
being
Jan.
here.
So
Thank
great.
you, everybody.
Thank you, everybody, for your
Bye-bye.
contribution.
Bye-bye.
All right. See
And-
you in a week. I'm so excited.
Blessings
See
for
you.
your week.
Bye-bye.
Wonderful.
Okay. All
Bye,
right.
everyone.
Bye for
Good
now.
energy. Thank you.
Bye.
And the extra
Bye.
vitamin D is coming. So,
Okay. Hi, John. Hi,
hi.
Ewald. Are you still here? That was a good call. And I'm glad you shared what you shared, John, and also you, Ewald. I know we kind of interrupted you, and I meant to get back to you, but your pearls of wisdom just flow.
No worries.
There's
All
more to
good.
come, right? All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Well, that was a good call. I'm thrilled
Yeah.
with it. So, all right.
Hey guys, have a good one.
Ciao for
Nice
now.
seeing you, Ewald.
Take
Okay.
care.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.
Nice to see you, Jan.
Bye,
Bye.
John.